You're listening to the E2C Network, podcast by Auburn fans for Auburn fans.
War Eagle Auburn fans, and welcome to TRAX, your source for Auburn, track and field, and cross-country news and discussion. I'm your host, Kyle Loomis, and I'm here with my husband and sometimes amazing co-host, Kyle, to discuss the Tennessee Challenge that happened May 1st and 2nd.
I was sitting here wondering if you were going to use the superlatives or not this time. You found the equal balance. It took you all season, but you did it.
The sometimes amazing?
Sometimes amazing. I can deal with that.
I'm glad you're not upset.
Because, I mean, it's the truth, though, for real.
It is true.
I mean, people know from my commentary on this podcast that I'm only somewhat amazing, if that.
Kyle is amazing 62% of the time. The other 38% of the time,
can I ask where
mediocre.
you got the 62%? That's some...
Well, it's significantly higher than 50, but it's also halfway between 50 and 75.
Is that really halfway between?
Yeah, 62.5 would be halfway between.
Okay. I forgot that you threw the 0.5 in there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's how we're starting this show.
Yeah.
Tennessee Challenge. We're back. We've already been to Tennessee Relays. Now we're back at the Tennessee Challenge.
Yes.
Tennessee's one of those places we just can't get away from this season, just like Florida or South Carolina and indoor track and field.
That's what I was going to say, is it's like Florida. We always seem to go to Florida. Now we're always going to Tennessee.
Here's the funny thing, though, about this. It's not very flat in Tennessee.
It doesn't matter.
I
Either
know.
way, it's a track.
I
it
understand that.
Oh, okay.
I know, but I'm just... It was a funny joke that you didn't
Do you
run with.
understand that was a cross-country joke and we are in track? Do you know the difference? Out of all of these seasons that you have done this podcast with me, do you know the difference in track and field and cross-country? You know there's no javelins in cross-country, right?
How much fun would it be to run a cross-country with a javelin throw in it?
That seems like that movie 300.
300. I was thinking Hunger Games, but...
Well... Either way.
So you had a portion in cross country where you had a javelin, you had to throw it. Obviously, the shot put. Then you had to spin while running with the discus.
No.
Then you had to hurdle something, and then pole vault or jump over something. Throw all of it in together. That's what I want.
That would be terrible.
I think it'd be hilarious.
And also, there are things called triathlons, biking, swimming,
that's what this
running.
We basically make it all an triathlon.
So you want a heptathlon. But instead of running
an
800,
I want an all-a-thon.
You're going to make them run a marathon.
I want all-a-thon, sprints,
What
jumps.
is that thing, that Ironman?
Ironman Challenge.
Yes. I couldn't remember if that's what that was called.
Probably doesn't fit here because it's a little bit different intensity, running through mud and all that stuff, lifting tires. All right, Tennessee Tennessee Challenge.
Tennessee Challenge. So we are here. It happened May 1st and 2nd in Tennessee. Obviously. So it was a smaller group. So some of our headliners that we're used to seeing, the Joyce Camellis and the Kylie Carters, were not there.
Right. And this is the final regular season meet too. So
correct.
Everybody's got to get in their times, their runs. This is the opportunity where you want people to try to qualify for the bigger stages.
Well, to be fair, SEC Championships is in 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, but if they need times to get themselves...
To get their seed, yes.
This is the time. This is your last opportunity, folks. But we still did some good things even with a smaller field. And now you'll see how small it is when we get to talking through all of the different events here in a second, but
Correct. It was a very small meet.
Is this the smallest meet you think we've seen?
Yeah, this season. However, it doesn't take away from some of the big wins
Absolutely,
that we had.
Yeah.
And we even had a couple PRs. So that's what's more important, especially when you're looking at a small stage.
Bronze, silver, and gold are better.
Okay, well, let's start off talking about some bronze, silver.
Don't hurt yourself.
Wowza.
Don't hurt yourself.
First, second, and third place. So starting off, we had Niles Fisher. He got third place in the men's javelin. Then we had Kiera McCarroll winning the women's javelin and Shania Hawley placing second in women's javelin.
So technically, we can't say we swept the podium because
it was 1, 2, 3 men and women.
Yes, but I'm just saying, it kind of feels like we could somewhat claim a little bit of a victory like that we got a placement in, javelin the entire across the way.
I'll take it.
Right?
You're not wrong.
I like claiming moral victories every once in a while.
Yes, you
that's
do.
Like a dirty word to some people. No moral victories here. I'll take a victory any way I can get it.
Oh my gosh. Moving on, we had Destiny Charles. She won the women's 200-meter dash. Brandon Smiley placing second in the men's 200-meter dash, and Giovanni Murray placing third in the 200-meter dash.
Love it. Lots of thirds and seconds and a couple of firsts thrown in here as well. Oquindo Bernard placed second in the 110-meter hurdles. Also, David Edmondson placed third there. So close to sweeping the field there. I don't know if we had one more competitor in that, but I wish we had so we could have our opportunity to sweep the field. Adam Strauss placed second in the men's shot put. I actually watched this one. I think they shared it on social media.
Oh, did you?
Obviously, from the angle, you can't see where like it landed, but you could see his form and stuff like that. Let me just tell you, that hurt my head to watch them spin.
It is truly...
Not spin, but the way they... And I guess they spin, too, to throw it.
It is a true athletic event. I don't think we talk about shot put quite enough. The amount of, like, dexterity,
body control.
Yes, we don't think that because usually our shot putters are larger in that, you know, their body mass.
Right.
They're typically a little bit wider, broader athletes, but they have to be able to balance on their toes and pivot and spin and, you know, not scratch out. And I don't know, it is an art.
Let me just say this. If anybody had any questions that larger people can be athletic and agile and graceful in a sense, you need no other clue than J.J. Pegues, or Pegasus, as I call him, because he's oddly graceful, the Auburn football player this year. He's like the 300-plus pounder who basically juked people out of their shoes when he had the ball in his hands.
Okay.
You don't remember that, but many people who are listening to this who love football understand right now are like fist pumping because they love that guy so much.
I'm also just trying to figure out the
because
correlation between football and shot put,
well,
but now
saying,
I got you.
Bigger guy. But you would look at him and you'd say, oh, he can't juke people out of his shoes running the football or throw awesome blocks. But yes, he can.
But this is a pitch to people that it does not matter what your body shape, your size, anything is. An athlete is an athlete regardless of their looks.
I felt like there was a Dr. Seuss quote in there somewhere. But I don't. An elephant is faithful 100%. That's what I was about to say after that.
Oh my gosh.
All right, back on track here.
I'm just saying you don't have to be like a scrawny little muscular kid.
A scrawny little muscular kid. That's
to be, you know, the top athlete in the world. No. Look at people like freaking Michael Phelps. How many calories did that man consume a day? 1 million. How many did he burn off a day? 1 million.
He was pretty chiseled, to be honest with you.
Oh, he was very chiseled, but he was also very broad and very tall. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes we get like, you know, in America.
I don't think you're making the same analogy that I'm making, but I understand your point.
Well, I was trying to get there, but you cut me off.
No, that's enough about body masses and indexes and all that stuff.
You
all right.
told me.
Zatori Thompson placed second in the women's high jump, and also Caroline Lawrence placed third. We almost swept that whole dang thing again. And then Jocelyn Budwig placed second in the women's discus with a PR for her. So those are all your main highlights, which is a good portion of what actually happened here. I think now we should go into the rest of the results.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, for the men's 100-meter dash, we had Christopher Grant, like we said, placing second out of 12 competitors with a time of 10.41, his best this season. And then Jason Reese placed third in 10.70 seconds.
A little bit on the slower side of his times for Jason Reese, but still in the middle. It's not his worst time. It's not his, the worst time he could possibly do. And again, I said, if you want to know how small this meet is, we said this last episode, just look at the 100-meter dash or the 200-meter dash.
No, I was going to say, let's look at the 200-meter dash. 7 competitors.
Right. But compare, like if you look at these two events, that tells you how big the event is, or the meet's going to be usually.
Right. So for the men's 200-meter dash, we have Brandon Smiley placing second in 21.18 seconds, followed by Giovanni Murray placing third in 21.25, and Jason Reese placing fourth, 21.56 seconds.
That's a pretty good spread between Jason and Giovanni, isn't it? The 21.25, 21.56 in a 200-meter dash. That'd be pretty significant, wouldn't he?
I mean, potentially.
I think, I don't know, just to me that sounds like that spread between them, so it may have been like, I was wondering.
Like literally one step.
I know.
2 steps.
But
it's not even a second.
A step matters, really, in a dash
It
like
does,
that.
but you can't say it's a wide space.
I'm thinking proportionally, to me, it sounded like a little bit. Because my point was, look how close how close was he to getting on the podium with them and sweeping the whole thing. You know that's what I'm focused on this episode.
Of course.
We're going to take a quick break from this episode for a special announcement. One of the things that we take great pride here at the E2C Network are our listeners are really our E2C Network family.
Now, I know they enjoy listening to us, but let's be honest, every once in a while, they probably would like a little bit of change of pace. Well, that's where you come in if you're a business owner. If you have any interest in partnering with us in terms of ads or sponsorships on our podcast episodes, you can reach us at e2cnetwork@gmail.com. Let us help you reach the widest variety of Auburn fans out there. I mean, come on. Who else listens to a network where they cover everything from Auburn football to The Bachelor and the connections it has with Auburn? Utilize our podcast, Facebook Live shows, and other flexible partnership opportunities that are available upon request. Let us help you reach the E2C Network family and the Auburn family at large on how you might best be able to serve them. Reach out to us at e2cnetwork@gmail.com for more information. That's all we have for you in this special message. Let's get back into the episode.
The men's 110-meter hurdles, we've already talked about. Quindo Bernard, second out of 6 competitors, 14.89 seconds was his hurdle run. David Edmondson got third, 6th out of 6 athletes, 15 seconds was his run. And then John Murray, 4th out of 6, 15.27. That's just like the first ones here. 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
So close, yet so far away.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right, also the men's 400-meter hurdles, Caden Seal, 3rd out of 6 competitors there, 53.83 second run for him.
Which is ironic because that is the exact time he ran the week before.
And it's still not his best time. I think he would be okay with that if it was his best time, but he's probably, I can only imagine how frustrating that is for him to not have your best time last time and still do the exact same thing this time. It's like,
down to the hundredths of a second.
Running into a wall, it feels like.
Yes. Moving on to the men's field events, we've got the men's high jump, TJ Funchess placing 4th with a jump of 2 meters, and David Edmondson placing 5th with the same jump of 2 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to men's pole vault, we had the one competitor, Matthew Asplund, placing 3rd out of 9 competitors with a vault of 4.88 meters.
So not his best of the season, but better than his previous one, which was 2 weeks ago.
Yes, exactly.
So he improved a little bit from his last time. The long jump, John Murray, got 6th out of 6 competitors. His jump was 6.63 meters. So that is his best of the entire year. So
and to be fair, he's only competed in 3 meets for the long jump, but that is his best by a lot.
Big, significant amount by his first and his second attempts this season.
Yep.
All right, so now the throwing things. Got to love it when you can throw some things around. The shot put, Adam Strauff, as we already talked about, got that silver medal. 18.22 meters was his throw. Not his best of the season, but still a pretty good one. The hammer throw, we got 3 competitors. Kyle Brown, 3rd out of 7, 65.69 meter throw. Eric Ebel, 4th out of 7, 63.22 meter throw. And then Kyle Moisen, 5th out of 7, 62.89 meters. 3rd, 4th, 5th. It's not as good as 2, 3, 4, but hey, I'll take it.
That's true. Wow. Okay, moving on to men's javelin. We had Niles Fisher, like we discussed, getting 1st out of 7 competitors with a throw of 72.85 meters. Then Josh Wallace placing 4th in 58.27 meters, and Eric Ebel placing 5th, 57.9 meters.
Well, I thought with Niles, here's the interesting thing. I saw us get a win in javelin. I was expecting Kylie Carter's name to come up.
Right.
But he's already done, a great job in his previous meet with that 74.3 meter throw. And he'd get just a little bit under that this time, but it's still enough to win.
Absolutely. So our final men's event was the men's discus. Kyle Moisen placing 10th out of 15 competitors in 46.95 meters. John Murray placing 14th in 34.32 meters. And David Edmondson placing 15th with 22.96 meters.
All of these athletes in this event did a little bit less than what they normally would. So it's probably not their best overall attempts this season.
Yeah.
But obviously still.
But that's all right. Yeah. They're out there. They're doing it.
Absolutely. The women's events now are in. We've got the 100-meter dash, 2 competitors. Nia Benton Andrews, 5 out of 11. 11.86 seconds for her. Destiny Charles, 7th out of 11. 11.9 seconds was her run. The women's 200-meter dash, we've already talked about. Destiny Charles won the whole dang thing out of 13 competitors. 23.8 seconds was her run.
That's almost her best this season. Her best was 23.73.
So close. And we've seen this happen a lot with Destiny, where she's kind of middle of the pack in the 100, but then it's like that second extra 100 yards gives her like the leg right there. Like
I'm telling you, the 200 is her event.
It definitely is.
So women's 800, we only had one competitor, which was shocking, but we had Jennifer Dietrich placing 6th out of 12 athletes with a time of 2 minutes, 14.6 seconds, kind of right in the middle of where she's been this season.
Right in the middle of the field and right in the middle of where she's been all season.
Yeah. I mean, I'm super okay with right in the
That's
middle.
called consistency.
Exactly. Exactly. Now back to the field events. We've got the women's 100-meter hurdles. Well, let's be honest, this is still kind of a debate whether it's a track event or a field event. I'm calling a hurdle a field event. Don't at me.
No. They're running on the track.
What did we just say?
They are running on the track.
What did I just say?
They are not running on the track. It is a track.
They are
event.
jumping over things.
But what do they do first?
Just like in long jump. So in long jump, you run first.
But it's off the track. So there it doesn't qualify. I win.
You
lose.
stupidly
And where did that
logical.
bring you? Back
Nowhere.
To me. Back to me.
Brought me nowhere.
That's an in-game reference for people who don't understand that.
I don't care about in-game. In-game sucks.
Oh, wow.
Women's 100-meter hurdles. Natasha Jordan placing 4th out of 11 in this field event with a run of 13.95. Take that. I called it a run, and I called it a field event.
You take the gold in bitterness.
Well, you're not wrong. So the women's 400-meter hurdles, we've got Tyler Colbert placing 4th out of 7 with a time of 62.41 seconds, and then Nia Benton-Andrews placing 7th with a time of 67.47 seconds.
So here's the interesting thing. We've got a 2-3-4 finish for these three competitors in the women's high jump. Zatori Thompson, followed by Caroline Lawrence, and then Kamaya Dindy. 2, 3, 4. All had a jump of 1.73 meters. Satori and then Caroline both got one step above the others in terms of attempts, right? That's how it always does. So even though they have the same jump,
they all cleared
length,
the same height. They just didn't clear it as many times.
Because what would happen if there's an actual tie? Like, would they just leave it as that? How do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for high jump, they just leave it
just
as a
like
tie.
Two at second or something like that. So you
yeah,
could have
it
two
happens pretty frequently.
So what happens if you have two on the podium in one spot? Does that ever happen?
Yeah, pretty
Really?
frequently.
That's a small space to stand up on together.
Yeah.
That's not social
now,
distancing.
I can't remember what... there's not always a podium, right? Like, that's not always a thing.
Wait, there's not always a podium?
Anyway, what I was going to say is...
What's the point? Sorry.
What I was going to say is I don't know how the points go. Because in some meets, if there's a tie, the points are split. Like, you get 10 points for first place.
Yeah.
The points are split 5 and 5.
There you go.
However, then it becomes an unequal sharing of the points because then second place gets 8 points. So technically, then the second place person gets more points than the first place person. So I don't know the rules on that.
I don't know about Java. When she started talking math, I just kind of blanked out there.
Okay, next event.
All right, the last of the jumping things. Women's long jump, Imani Jones, 11 out of 14, 5.46 meter jump for her.
So moving on to women's shot put, we had Mara Hewalt placing 5th out of 13 with a throw of 14.94 meters, and Jocelyn Budwood placing 6th with a throw of 14.37 meters. Then the women's discus, we had Jocelyn Budwick again placing 2nd out of 9 with a throw of 48.91 meters, and Mara Hewalt placing 4th in 47.42 meters.
And then finally, in the javelin, as we always like to end with, Kiera McCarroll got the win without Kylie Carter there. She's doing big things even when she was competing with Kylie Carter in the same field. 1st out of 7, 50.20 meter throw for her. They're far and away best of the season. Shania Holly, this is almost a new name. I was about to say we haven't talked about her a whole lot. She got 2nd out of a 7, 45.47 meter throw, which was just under her previous one. So if she had kind of matched her last one, it would have been a little bit closer, but still pretty far away from Kiera McCarroll. She kind of ran away with this whole thing.
That's okay. 1-2. You're not mad at it, are you?
I'm not mad at it. So here's what I take away from this meet.
Tell me.
Obviously, small field.
Right.
Overall, in terms of when you look at PRs and stuff and how close they were, some of our athletes were, it wasn't the best showing. So if this had been a larger field, we probably wouldn't have seen as many first, second, thirds. That doesn't mean it's a bad meet. It just means that, this was kind of everybody get your event times in, your runs, your jumps, all that stuff. Get your qualifiers in so you can seed for SEC, Nationals, all that good stuff.
Well, speaking of the SEC, it's a perfect segue.
Mm-hmm.
SEC Outdoor Championships, May 13th through 15th, 3 days in, of course, College Station, Texas.
Is it there every year?
I was saying so by saying of course, so.
I feel like it's in Arkansas sometimes.
Most of the time it is.
Okay. I feel like it kind of switches back and forth
Well,
between there.
Listen, I thought the championships were in Arkansas.
They're in Eugene, Oregon, usually, aren't they?
Yep. Wow. You were just derailing my entire show.
But
Glad you're here.
I thought you'd be proud to remember
This
that.
is the 38% kind of day.
I thought you'd be proud that I remembered all these things.
I am so proud.
All right, SEC door action coming up. I'm excited.
Yes. So that's all we've got for this edition of Tiger Tracks War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Before you get out of here, we want to remind you of a couple of things. Head over to e2cnetwork.com, our website where you can find everything that you'll ever need from us, podcasts, blogs, and even ways to help support the show. If you want to find individual episodes, you can download all of these on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So until we see you again, I want to remind you of one thing, that here at the network, we believe in Auburn and love it. The only question remains, do you?